person has been afraid. Our next speaker has been afraid because he didn't listen to the voice of reason in his head. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker with a speech entitled, "You Might Be in the Wrong Place If..." Toastmaster Tim Taylor.
Thanks for that rousing applause. All right, let's try that again. I'm warmed up here. You know, when I was in college, walking down a hallway, you know, there's always these bulletin boards on the walls. Roommates, rooms for rent, you know, there's all kind of advertisements. I'm walking down the hallway one day and I see this poster, it's upside down. And I walk up and I look at it, it says, "Learn to skydive, one day, $60. Wow, I have a fear of heights. I need to try this. And so, got my brother and a friend of mine, and we drove out to a little landing strip near Memphis, where I'm from. And we drove down this long dirt road. I didn't think we were going to get anywhere. Finally, we come across this field, just a field, and a trailer, and an old Cessna airplane. No cars, no nothing. We get there about 8 o'clock in the morning. Pull up. You might be in the wrong place if the jump center you're fixing to get your training from has the name written on the door in magic marker. You walk out, it says Archway Parachute Center in magic marker. We're standing there for a little while, we're about to leave. Nobody shows up, and all of a sudden I hear banjo music way out in the distance. I swore as a theme for deliverance. This rattle-trap old pickup truck, 53 Ford, comes pulling up, smoke everywhere. And this guy gets out, I swear the guy's got 10 teeth. When he smiles, you can only see 5 of them. He gets out, and he says, "Hey boys, how you doing?" So he unlocks the door, and I realize this is our instructor and our pilot. And he says, let's come in here, let's get our chutes on. And we have no training. We have an hour of training, an hour. He goes in and he pulls out these are World War II surplus parachutes. They were round ones. Now this was the late 70s, y'all. I'm telling you how old I am. These are not the square, nice chutes that you can actually control. These are the round Army surplus chutes. Remember the newsreels you've seen where the guys jump out of the plane with a hook hooked onto the airplane, automatically opens the chute? That's the kind of chutes these were. So we had a line connected to the airplane. He goes out, and the first thing, he gives us about an hour of training. Then he walks out, and he starts pulling the seats out of the airplane, all but the pilot seat. He goes, I'm pulling all the seats out so I can cram all you guys in there, so he doesn't have to take off too many times and use too much fuel. So he crams us all on the airplane, and I'm sitting in the co-pilot seat, where the co-pilot seat's supposed to be. I'm facing the back of the airplane. He's immediately to my right. So we finally take off, and we're getting up to altitude. Again, about a 1 hour of training. And he suddenly reaches over and he opens the door to my left. Now, I haven't told you this. This is the first time I've ever been in an airplane.
Oh, Lord.
Never been off the ground in my life. So he opens the door, and he throws his streamer out, and the streamer goes down to the ground, and depending on where it lands to the landing zone, you can tell how windy it is that day. So if there's a lot of wind, he takes us further away from the landing zone and let us jump. Because you cannot control these parachutes. They literally just drop to the ground when you get out. So he opens the door on the side of the plane, and his first command to me is, get out. No, I'm sorry, get your feet out. Get your feet out. So I turn and put my feet out of the plane. This feels just like if you're in a convertible going 80 miles an hour down the highway and standing up, holding on to nothing. That's exactly what it felt like. So I turn, I get my feet out, and there it goes. And the next command is get out. What he means by that is you reach out. Now the way this plane's built, the wing is above your head, so you're like this. There's a strut that goes from the wing down to the airplane. You have to actually reach out, grab the strut, and now you're holding on to the side of the airplane. You put your left foot, this is honest to God truth, you put your left foot on a little bitty step about this big, and you dangle your right leg off. You're literally holding on to the side of the airplane. And when he says go, you're supposed to let go and jump out like this, facing the ground. Because again, there's a static line that automatically opens your chute. Again, 1 hour of training, this is what you get. So I reached out, and I grabbed the strut, and I actually put my right foot down on the step. And I'm like this, and I'm trying to change feet. And he suddenly goes, go. Now, he told us, when I say go, you have to go. Because there's no control over these parachutes, and there's no telling where you're going to land if you wait too long. So when he said go, instead of doing this, I went like this. and I went straight back. The line connected to my chute came right in between my legs. And so did the parachute. And my foot got caught in one of the ropes as it went through my legs. And I suddenly look up and I see the ground. I'm going down upside down. And so I reach up and I'm trying to get my foot. There were some other guys that were down on the ground and they heard me screaming. I'm reaching up at my waist, trying to get my foot undone. I finally managed to do that, but in my confusion, the chute started going around. I was pulling the chute accidentally. It was going way off course. So the jump zone was nowhere near where I was supposed to land. I'm coming down and suddenly I see a barbed wire fence coming up at me. I'm coming down in a cow pasture. And I finally hit the ground, thud, and the parachute goes on the other side of the fence. It was extremely windy this day, so the wind suddenly picked up, and it started pulling me right toward the bottom of the fence. And I put my feet out like this, and I hit a root or something, and I just suddenly went over right on my face, into the muck. And it's a cow pasture, you know what they leave behind is. So I'm being dragged along, and I finally reach up, and I pull the pins that release my chute. And so you might be in the wrong place if you get an hour of training to go parachuting. You're in an airplane that smokes more than a 74 Pinto. You've got a instructor that has 10 teeth, and you have the fear of heights. But I got over my fear of heights that day, and I stood up and said, I got to do this again. And I jumped 2 more times the same day.